All right, we'd like to start off by saying Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Tonight's lesson will be called Backsliding. Tonight's lesson will be called Backsliding. So many people wake up to the truth and they gather all this knowledge and they gather so much information to where they can't hold on. And that's why I wanted to go into the precepts, because you guys, we've been going over so much information over the last few years. However long you've been in the truth, however long I've been in the truth, so much information, and at the end of the day, we always come up with that number that says a remnant, which is a third, a few of the people will be saved. And I know it's kind of hard for so many people to believe it, That's why when you talk to friends and loved ones and you try to tell them that, they don't want to believe that. They don't want to hear that, because it's impossible for them to think that the Most High, who created all these people, is only going to save a few. So it's hard for people to grasp that. But once we get closer and closer to the end, and more evil hits the earth, we already read where we know the world has to hit an all-time high for evil in order for the Messiah to come back. So if the world is at an all-time evil, and evil's everywhere you go, so much going on, that's why so many people will fall back, because it's going to be that much more evil and that much more temptation out there to make a righteous individual fall right back into the cycle. So tonight I wanted to go over some precepts to show you how it's happening and what the scriptures say about an individual who wakes up, finds the truth, and then fall back into the ways that they once followed and that they once was a part of after they have found the truth. Because once you find the truth, you're supposed to get better. You might not get better right away. You might not change some things right away. But the goal is to become a better individual in time. All right? And then when you do fall back into some of those old ways, you're to repent and realize that, hey, I just messed up. I just fell back. And repent. And then you can be forgiven. But some people, they wake up to the truth and they fall back into those ways and they don't repent. And then they should know that they're back into those old habits. And it's a dangerous thing, you guys. So that's why I wanted to go over these scriptures tonight, to show you how it will affect your life once you start falling back into those old habits. Let's start off in Hebrews 10 and 26. So I want to hit the scriptures because I see so many people doing just that. They wake up to the truth, and then one way or another, they're falling right back into those old nasty habits. And it's scary because it's all around me. I see it. So, and that's all it is Satan. Satan is coming. And the closer you get to trying to flee America, and the closer you get to trying to get away from all these evil things, Satan's going to say, nuh-uh. Let me come and show you something else. Or let me come and do something to get your attention in this matter. And now you're battling with Ephesians 6 and 12. You're wrestling with flesh and blood. Satan brings different things in your life to where now you're starting to do things in the flesh again, and you're wrestling with it, and you can't get away from it because you're so tied up in it. And that's the reason why so many people fall back, because they can't separate the two, the flesh and the spirit. Hebrews 10 and 26. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 26, and it reads, "For if we sin willfully, After that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifices for sins.
So if you sin willfully after you have received the knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sins. So this is, once you wake up to the truth, you know the truth, you know what the Bible says about certain things, and then you sin on that particular topic, which was willfully, because once you know the truth about it and then you still sin on it, that's sinning willfully, because you know the truth. Now I can understand if you didn't know yet, you haven't been taught yet what the Bible says about that particular topic, and then you sin on it. Okay, it's a difference. But if you know what the scriptures say about something, and then you go the opposite way of what the scriptures are saying, that's sinning willfully. You know the truth. You've already received the knowledge on that. And now there remains no more sacrifice for sins for you. So now the sacrifice that the Messiah made for your sins, shed his blood so you can repent. The Most High says, I'm not going to forgive you if you continue to sin on something willfully. Now, if you sin on something that you just really didn't know and then you repent, but that's like somebody taking the Most High for granted. Well, I'm going to sin today on this and I'm going to repent because I know he's going to forgive me. Nah, it don't work like that. You can't just keep sinning on something that you know is wrong and then go ask for forgiveness the same night and then you're good. 2 Peter 2:20. The object of this goal, which is salvation, is to change. Get away from the things that you know that's sin. You can't keep repenting on the same things that you are sinning on willfully. All right. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 20. Go ahead.
We're in the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 20, and it reads, For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, through the knowledge of the Most High and Yeshua the Messiah, they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
So if you have escaped the pollutions of this world, got away from the things that this world has to offer, all the evils, all the sins, and you have escaped it through the knowledge of the Most High and through the Messiah, which is this word, and then again entangled, and then all of a sudden you are entangled again in those type of events. Those type of events will overcome you. That's why you got to completely get away from certain people. That's why you got to completely get away from certain things. Because once you get away and escape those things, and then all of a sudden you're hanging around it again, you're going to get entangled therein, and then it's going to overcome your spirit to where now you're doing that over the Most High. And once that happens, it says the later end, which is Judgment Day, will be worse with them than it was with you in the beginning, before you even found this truth. Before you even decided to escape from that pollution of the world, now the Judgment Day is going to be worse on you. Verse 21.
Verse 21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness.
So it was better for you not to even know the way of righteousness. But now that you know the way of righteousness, go ahead.
Then, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
So now that you have known the way of righteousness, and now you're walking right back in the evil ways and the wicked heart, the Most High says to the holy commandment was delivered unto you, and now you have walked back the other way. Verse 22.
Verse 22. But it happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the suit that was washed to her wallowing in the mirror.
So the dog, so it said this was told in the true proverb. A dog, no matter where you take this dog, or no matter where it goes, if it throws up somewhere, it's going to be return back to that vomit. That's just what a dog does. A dog can throw up, and you can grab the dog right now and take it in the house and keep it in the house for hours. And once you let it back outside, guess where the dog is going? Back to the vomit. So that's how individuals are. They wake up to the truth, start following the ways of the Most High, and then they backslide and start getting around people and hanging around people. And next thing you know, they're back right to those evil ways again. After you have woken up, found the Most High, did everything you could to become righteous, a righteous man, a virtuous woman, and now you look up and you're 2-3 years later, you're back in the same spot. And then it says, and the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mirror. It's talking, the soul is a hog in this precept. It's talking about a pig. A pig that was washed in the wallowing in her mirror. Mirror is mud. So you know how pigs like to wallowing, rolling, they like to roll in the mud. So it says the same as a pig who likes to roll in the mud, the same as a dog who returns to their own vomit. Is the way people are that wakes up to the truth and then they turn right back and start following those old ways again. Those old ways is going to get you to the left faster than it would have if you would have never even changed. That's why it's important. Listen, once you find the Most High, it is a scary thing. It is a scary thing once you find the Most High, because now you can't escape it. Now you can't get away from it. Once you change and you start doing things according to the Most High, you can't get away from it now. You have to now continue to be that person and to continue to change. All right? Let's go to Hebrews 2:1. So don't play with it. Don't play. All right? If you feel like you're falling back, ask for help. But you can't ask for the help and then continue to fall back. If you ask for the help, you got to really want the help. And when somebody brings the help, you got to accept it, because the help is going to be considered a lot of reproof. That's what the help is going to be. If you wake up to the truth and then you feel yourself falling back and then you ask for help, be careful what you ask for, because that help is going to consist of reproof. And it's going to be a lot of reproof. That's the only way you can get back on track, is through the reproof. We all know so many people, they despise the reproof. They don't want the reproof. Hebrews 10:1. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip.
So it says, therefore we ought to give more earnest heed, means pay attention to the things which we have heard, the things that you have been taught, lest at any time we should let them slip. Don't let the true word that's been taught to you to save your soul slip. But when people start backsliding and start doing wrong, they let it slip. Verse 2.
Verse 2. We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 2. And it reads, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward.
So you're going to be rewarded for your transgression and your disobedience. The Most High is not going to allow you to continue to be disobedient, and the Most High is not going to allow you to keep transgressing. So many people think, all right, well, I got to get this off my chest, or well, I got to do this, well, and I can sin for this week, and then I'm gonna change it next week. No, if you continue to sin and continue to be disobedient, you're going to be rewarded for every sin that you do. It ain't like the Most High gonna be, all right, well, I know you did that sin, but you know, He's going to judge you on them. And that way, by the time judgment day comes, He's going to weigh it out. You had this many sins, and then you had this many good days. where you did right. And if you don't have a certain percentage on that test, you're going to fail. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And it reads, how shall we escape? If we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by the Most High, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard him.
So it says, how shall we escape these transgressions and this disobedience? If we neglect so great salvation, which was at the first began to be spoken by the Most High, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard us. So this stuff, you've been taught from the beginning on how to get away from this type of stuff. But don't neglect it. Don't neglect salvation through transgressions. That's all you're doing. When you sin, every time you sin, you're neglecting salvation. But like I say, so many people, they start falling back. And the only thing that can get that individual back on track is reproof. And so many people choose to go the opposite way once they start hearing the reproof. They hate it. They do not want to hear it. Go to Proverbs 1:29. They hate it. I see it. So many people, brothers, if you go to one of your brothers and you try to give them reproof, they don't want to hear it. A husband to a wife, they don't want to hear it. Even a dad to a kid, they do not want to hear the reproof. They despise it so much. Even mothers trying to give the kids reproof, it becomes a fight. All right. Read 23 first.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 23, and it reads, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
So if you allow the reproof to kick in, he says, I will pour out my spirit unto you. All right? If you allow the reproof to settle in and you hear it out instead of fighting it, he will allow the spirit to come into you. And now he will make known his words unto you. Verse 24.
Verse 24. And it reads, because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded.
Mm-hmm.
But ye have set a knot all my counsel, and would none of my reproof.
So people don't want the counseling. They don't want the reproof. When you try to counsel somebody, that's all reproof is. It's just counseling them through the words of the Most High. You're just counseling them and letting them know, hey, you shouldn't be doing that according to the scriptures. This is what we should be doing. And they don't want it. They don't want to regard that reproof. Go ahead.
Verse 25. We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 25. And it reads, but ye have set a knot in my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity.
So when you're in trouble and things are going wrong, he says, I'm going to laugh at you. All right? When your calamity comes upon you, I'm going to laugh at you. Because when I tried to send reproof and counsel your way, you didn't want to accept it. So then when you're down and out and your calamity is right on top of your head, the Most High says, I'm going to laugh at your problems. And guess what? You're going to continue to have problems. Calamity means misfortune. So now when things are misfortunate for you and you can't pay your bills, you don't have gas money, things ain't going good at work, and then you try to turn to the Most High, he says, I'm going to laugh at you. Because before you got in that situation, I tried to give you reproof, I tried to give you some knowledge and some counseling, and you didn't want to accept it. See, but America has sugarcoated this world to where people don't even realize when things are misfortune. Because they always think they got a solution. All right, well, I get paid next week, so yeah, I'm struggling right now, but I get paid in a couple of days, so I'll be able to take care of that. So they don't even realize the misfortune that the Most High is trying to put upon them. Read 26 again.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 26, and it reads, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh.
Mm-hmm.
When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. When distress and anguish cometh upon you.
So when stress and anguish come upon you, it's going to be like a whirlwind. Since you don't want to fear me, all right, when your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, and your distress and anguish cometh upon you, go ahead.
Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer.
So now that things are going really bad for you, now you want to try to call upon the Most High. He says, I'm not going to answer. You're supposed to deal with the Most High when things are going really good and when things are going bad. When things are going good, you go to the Most High, you thank Him, you appreciate it, you pray, you ask for reproof then. Hey, is there anything else I can do better? I know things are good right now, but give me some more reproof so I can become better. Not, when things are going good and things are going all right and someone tries to give you reproof and the reproof comes, you despise it. And then the moment things are going really bad, the Most High says, I will not answer you. And now you're going to be sitting there wondering, dang, I've been in this same spot for 4 months now. 4 months now, I've been struggling. 4 months now, I've been doing really bad. Same spot. Things ain't changed. Well, that's the Most High talking to you. But He's talking to you in a way to where He's not even speaking to you. Finish it out.
Verse 28, and it reads, they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me.
So they're going to wake up every morning when things are going bad, looking for the Most High, asking for help. And He says, they ain't going to be able to find me. I don't care how early you get up praying to me when things are going bad. I'm not going to answer. Verse 29.
Verse 29. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Most High. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof.
So you despise all the reproof of the Most High. And you did not choose to fear the Most High. So since you didn't want to fear the Most High, you hated the knowledge. And we are to fear the Most High at all times, men and women. You're to fear the Most High. Women, you're to fear your husband as if the Messiah was sitting right there. Verse 31.
Verse 31. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices.
So the Most High says you're going to be filled with your own devices. So you want to use those devices and those different things, you're going to eat of your own way. That evil way is going to eat at you. All right? Don't try to run to me once your devices and all those evil ways and things turn against you. All right? Let's go to Jeremiah 3 and 11. So you have to be able to accept reproof. Because we all at one point in time, once you wake up in this truth, start backsliding a little bit. We all have at one point in time, once you wake up to the truth, especially when you first wake up to the truth, it's hard. It's hard when you start realizing family members and friends don't want you no more, and then it becomes a struggle to where you still want to be around them. So it's like a backslide because you're trying to satisfy the flesh because of what's happening to it. But you got to be strong. And even once you've been in the truth for a few years, see, this is what I tell a lot of people. When you first wake up to the truth, in your first year or two, things are going to happen. Okay, yeah, things will happen. But once you're in this truth for a few years, that's when it's gonna come. That's when the test is really gonna come. It ain't gonna come in the first year or two. First year or two, you're gonna be too busy dealing with all the adversaries and the wicked darts that Satan is throwing at you to get you to come back home. But once Satan realizes, dang, he's been gone for 3 years, he ain't coming back, then that's when the real test is going to kick in. So for all you people that haven't even been in the truth for a year or two, your test ain't even came yet. I promise you. It ain't even came yet. Because that's when people start backsliding. Once they're in the truth for about 4 or 5 years, then they get complacent. All right, I know so much now to where I don't think I can learn anymore. I know so much. I done read the Bible 5 times back and forth. So you've been in the truth for a while, so now you become complacent. And then that's when you get comfortable on things. So now you don't got the eager to learn as much and want to become better. So now you think you didn't done it all. I've graduated from the Bible. And then that's when he comes. Because your first couple years, you're so eager, you want more. He ain't gonna come then, because you're strong. But the longer you're in the truth, you actually become weak. And people don't even understand that. You actually become weak because you become so complacent because you think you know so much now. So the spirit is not the same as it was in the beginning when they wanted to grow and they wanted more and more. Feed me, feed me. So once you win it for a few years, that's when the temptations, that's when all the fiery darts and Satan, those 7 spirits are going to come. And then that's when he gets a lot of people, and that's when they start backsliding. Be like, hey, what happened to such and such? They would, hey man, that's what I kind of looked up to when I got in the truth. Got to be more careful on who you follow. All right, Jeremiah 3:11. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 11. And it reads, And the Most High said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
So this is what happens to us too. When people start backsliding, they start justifying the situation. They start justifying what they're doing and why they're doing it as if it's right. They know they're slipping. They know they're slipping and they know they're doing wrong, and they start justifying and start saying things. Well, this is why I'm doing it because I'm going through this and this is happening. So this is why I'm doing evil right now, or this is why I decided to do this because of what's going on in my life. So they start trying to justify why they're going the other way again. Where is that in the scripture that says, okay, once you start backsliding, you got excuses on why you're doing it? There's no excuses on why you're going back the other way. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Most High, and I will not cause my anger to fall upon you.
So the Most High says, I will. If you turn away from that backsliding, I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. But if you backslide, guess what? The anger is coming. Go ahead.
For I am merciful, saith the Most High, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity.
Acknowledge your wrong. That's all he wants you to do is to acknowledge what you're doing and turn away from it. Now he will cause anger to turn away from you. But you have to acknowledge that you're doing wrong. You have to acknowledge, hey, I'm slipping a little bit. I'm going the other way. And once you acknowledge it, go ahead.
Thou hast transgressed against the Most High thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree.
So now you're following the ways of the strangers. But he says you have to acknowledge the iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Most High. So once you realize you have transgressed and sinned and you're going the wrong way, acknowledge it. When you're following the ways of the strangers, which is not the ways of the Most High, acknowledge that you're doing wrong. You're not following His ways. Go ahead. And
ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Most High. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion.
So it says, once you turn away from your backsliding ways, I will lead you to Zion. But most of the people are comfortable in their own ways and they don't want to turn from the backsliding. That's the thing. See, that's where the justifying comes in. And when people are in the truth for so many years, they start justifying their own doctrine. They start justifying what they think is right. Instead of following the Bible like it says, oh, I've been in the truth for 5 years, so I know what the Bible says. So I'm gonna do it like this. So people start justifying what they think is right instead of what is right in the scriptures. So many people get comfortable in their own ways. They get so high in their head with knowledge, they get comfortable in their own ways and don't want to turn back from that. And that's where the backsliding comes in at, because they don't want to turn from those nasty ways. Proverbs 5:21. It's all around us, you guys. And I'm gonna tell you, how long have I been telling y'all this? The closer we get to America falling on this face and us wanting to get out of here, watch how many people is left standing, and that's really trying to get out of here. How long have I been saying that? I've been saying it for a while now, right?
Yes.
I've been saying it for a while. The closer we get, and the more our spirits want to get out of here, and the more we start preparing to get out of here, watch how many people is left in our circle that's really trying to go. They gon' Michael Jackson moonwalk right back into the world. Hey, I was just playing. I was just playing when I said I want to flee America. It sounded good. And the closer we get out, you see people moonwalk. You're gonna be seeing them doing all kinds of dances. You're like, damn, I didn't even know you could do all that in one. You done put 10 dances into one move. They're gonna start ducking you. They're gonna start disappearing. Not only are they gonna moonwalk out of the circle, you're gonna be like, what happened to such and such? They just gonna start disappearing. Why? Because of shame face. You can't continue to come around when you already made up in your mind that you're not going, or you're not going to be a part of what you've been saying you're going to be a part of. So the group that you're a part of is going to get smaller, smaller, smaller. The closer you get to wanting to get out of here, and the more your spirit says, hey, it's time to go, it's going to get smaller, smaller, smaller. That's why you, as an individual who's really serious, you gotta cut through and get rid of the people that ain't serious. Get them out of your way. And then, while you're still here, move on to the next and maybe find one or two more people that might just be serious, instead of wasting your time with individuals that say they do, they want it, but then you can look and tell that they don't. Stop wasting your time. Because the closer you get, you're gonna know who really wants it. It's written all over their spirit. You don't gotta keep telling them, you don't gotta beg them, you can see it. So don't waste your time with people who just playing around. Take that time and put it on somebody else or something else, to where you might wake somebody up real quick and they might be like, hey man, I'm out of here too. Remember that. Alright? Verse 13. No, verse 14.
We're back in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 14. And it reads, Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
So if you just do according to what the Most High say, He's going to guide you back to Zion. All right? No matter what happened, He's going to guide you back. Let's go to Proverbs 5 and 21. But like I say, so many people are so comfortable. They're not going to be able to get back to Zion because they're so comfortable with America and what they have going on here. All right, it's just too good, just too good to leave it until they come and throw me down on the ground and put me in handcuffs and put me on the bus. It's too good. I just can't believe it's ever going to stop. Instead of having the faith in the Most High, say, you know what? I'm gonna get away from this while I have a chance. I'm not gonna wait until I see it fall. I see it falling, so I'm gonna get out of here. You're not gonna stand under a roof that you see collapsing. Well, you're gonna sit there and wait, and then it finally collapses. The first few pieces fall in, and then you run. No, you see a roof collapsing, you're getting out of there right now. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 21, and it reads, For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Most High, and he pondereth all his goings.
So it says the Most High is paying attention to all the things you do. All the ways of a man are before the eyes of the Most High, and he pondereth all his goings. So everything you do on a daily basis, the Most High is jotting it down. He's paying attention. Verse 22.
Verse 22. His own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sin.
So all the iniquities that you do, it's going to be it holds on to you like a rope. Okay? That's why you got to stop sinning. Because every sin you do, it holds on to you like a rope. Until judgment day, those sins are going to still be there. That's what you got to understand. You have to stop. Stop being one of those people that think you can get away with it. Stop doing wrong. Because every sin you do is holding on like a rope. Verse 23.
Verse 23. We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 23. And it reads, He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray.
All right. So in the greatness of his folly, he will go astray. All right. And this is what we have going on. People are going astray. Okay. So a person who is sinning will go astray of the Most High. And once he's astray, it will pull down the hedge. So right now, when you're in the truth and you're doing everything you can, the Most High will hedge you. But a person that continues to sin, now the sinning will automatically make you go astray the Most High. And once you go astray, now the Most High is going to pull the hedge down. And you don't want that. Once he pulls the hedge down, then Satan's coming. Satan's coming. Isaiah 5 and 1. He's coming. All right? Like Jim Brown. If anybody know about football, Jim Brown, when he got the ball, he's coming downhill really tough. And that's how Satan's going to come at you once he realizes there is no hedge. That's like Jim Brown coming out of defense and there is no defensive line. Or linebackers, it's just secondary. Secondary's in trouble. Ain't nothing they can do to stop him. So the same thing with you. Satan's already coming at you so tough. And he's kind of getting at you with the hedge. So just imagine if you don't have the hedge around you and Satan starts coming at you. It's going to be rough. Isaiah 5 and 1. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 1. And it reads, now will I sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stores thereof, stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vines, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
So it says that the Most High, he says, my well-beloved had I a vineyard, all right, in a very fruitful hill, and I fenced it, all right, and he built a tower in the midst of it, and also made winepress therein, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, but it didn't bring forth grapes; it brought forth wild grapes. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard, that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
So it says again, what more can I have done to my vineyard? I've done everything I can to make these people, this vineyard right. I've done everything right for it to bring forth grapes. I seeded it right. I turned the ground right. I watered it correctly, and it still brought forth wild grapes. The wild grapes produced the terrible oppression and perversion, which is an evil act. So the Most High has done everything he can to bring in righteousness, but then these wild grapes are producing and coming up. And like I say, in this parable right here, the wild grapes is the terrible oppression and perversion, which is the evil acts that people bring. Give them the definition for perversion.
We have the word perversion, and it is the act of preventing, a turning from truth or propriety.
Let's read it again.
The act of preventing, a turning from truth or propriety, a diverting from the true intent or object, change to do something worse.
Change to do something worse. So the word perversion means the turning from the truth, diverting from the true intent. So there was an intent. So the Most High had an intent for this vineyard to bring good grapes, and then at the end, it brought wild grapes, something worse. It wasn't what he expected. And that's what's happened to his well-beloved. He started off in verse 1, says, my well-beloved, my vineyard. He intended for us to be certain individuals, but then yet, a lot of us have produced and became wild grapes, which is doing the act of evil things. Verse 5.
Verse 5. We're in the book of Isaiah chapter 5, verse 5. And it reads, and now, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof.
So he's going to take away the hedge. Now that the grapes ain't growing the way that he wants, and they become wild grapes, he said, I'm not going to protect these grapes. I have put a fence around this vineyard to where it can protect my crop, my vineyard, so where it can grow it. But now that it's not growing the way I want it to, and they come in with wild grapes, and I'm taking the hedge off. I'm taking the hedge off. Go ahead.
And it shall be eaten up.
I don't care what type of animal goes in there and eat them grapes up now that they're wild. But before then, my intentions, I had the fence around it. I had it hedged up to where nothing could touch it. But now that they become wild, they have evil intentions and evil acts, I'm going to let anything eat them up. Satan, go ahead and eat them up. Go ahead.
And break down the wall thereof. And it should be trodden down.
So once he pulls that hedge away, you no longer will be protected as a highest people. See, right now, when you're trying to do right, you're protected. You have the hedge. But once he pulls that hedge down, you're no longer protected as the most highest people. But left exposed to evil. So once you're exposed to evil, evil is going to consume you. He will remove all the defenses from you. All right? And then you will become easy prey to the enemies. Once you have no protections, now you will become easy prey to the enemies. And before you know it, you're going to be right back at doing everything that you once did on the dark side. Why? Because once the enemies start preying on you, they've been waiting on this opportunity. Satan's been waiting on this opportunity for so long. He's been waiting to get you back to the dark side. So now that he sees that the Most High is taking the hedge down, after you done did everything you can over the last 2-3 years to build that hedge and stay under it, now when Satan sees that the Most High is no longer protecting you, he's going to trample all over you. He's going to send them boys so quick, they're going to trample all over you to where you won't be able to get up. Every time you try to stand up, it's evil right over your dome piece. It's coming. That's why you got to be very careful. He has you protected for a reason. Men, your protection is this word. That's why I tell you, brothers, you carry your backpack everywhere you go. I don't care. You just going to put air in the tire? Backpack should be with you. All right? But that's your protection. This word is your protection. Women, your protection is your husband. If your husband is in the word like he should be and doing what he should be doing, that's your protection, women. Regardless if you don't like some of the things that your husband do, regardless if he don't listen to your every call, he's your protection. He's doing everything he can to save his soul and to bring you under that spirit, the same spirit that he's under. He's under the spirit of the Messiah, and you're under the spirit of the Messiah also through him. So that's your protection. And it's a sad thing when a husband don't want to protect the wife no more with the hedge because of the haughtiness of the wife. It happens. It happens to where the wife gets so haughty and she despises the reproof so much to where now the husband just be like, you know what? I'm gonna just let you get eaten up then. I'm just gonna sit back and watch you get eaten up, just like what we just read right here. Because the Most High gonna tell him to do it. After a while, the Most High gonna be like, you know what? She ain't accepted my reproof. She despised it. But every time you come to him with something, all right, we're gonna let her stand out there without no protection and see what happens. Verse 6.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 6. And it reads, and I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned. Prune means trim. All right, prune, when you prune something, it's like you're trimming it, keeping it looking neat and nice. It shall not be pruned nor digged, which is saying, so now there's no guidance. All right, the vineyard is out of control, weeds everywhere. It ain't been trimmed up. All right, so now there's no guidance. The vineyard is out of control, thorns everywhere. And now once you see that, this is the product of sin. Okay, that's what it means when it says, and I will lay it waste, it shall not be pruned nor digged. So this is the same way with us, the people. Now that you can't be pruned, there is no guidance, The vineyard's out of control. Like I say, that's the product of sin. And when you have the product of sin, now that's when errors and corrupt things go with the out of control. Now you're like, all right, you start to make all these errors. You start to do corrupt things. And now when you're doing these things, you can't be put in check. You can't be put in check. So like I said, when you same with the relationship, if a man's trying to talk to his wife and give her reproof and she don't want to accept it, that's all the reproof is putting her back in her place. And if she don't want it, then the Most High says, hey, I can't trim you up, I can't prune you. The same thing with us. If you're not following the Messiah the way you're supposed to, and you're being fake about it, and you mocking the Spirit, the Most High is going to put you on an island to where you're going to start getting ate up. And he ain't going to rain that vineyard. He ain't going to put no water to where it can grow. It's going to get out of control. That's what verse 6 is saying. Is now that the vineyard is out of control, there's weeds everywhere. There's no fence to protect it. You got wild grapes. There's nothing, that vineyard don't look nothing neat about it. Everything about it is nasty. Verse 7.
Verse 7. We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 7. And it reads, for the vineyard of the Most High hosts is the house of Israel. Who? It is the house of Israel.
So he's talking to Israel. This parable that we just read is speaking of you. The vineyard that's out of control, that's bringing forth wild grapes, which is evil acts, is speaking of you. Go ahead.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plan. And he looked for judgment, but beheld oppression, for righteousness, but beheld a cry.
So it says that Judah is his pleasant plant. So the men of Judah is the plant of his delight. The men of Judah is his pleasant plant. That's the plant that he chose. That's his pleasant plant. Okay? But we already know how much wild grapes Judah brings. Judah brings forth much wild grapes. So it's sad when wickedness has occupied the place of judgment. The Most High says, I brought in this vineyard, and he said, he asked this question like, what have I not done to keep it up? And it's still bringing forth wild grapes. So it's really sad when wickedness has occupied the place of judgment, the place of righteousness. The Most High says, I'm trying to put righteousness out there, and wickedness has occupied it, has took over. And that's what we had here in America, here everywhere in the world. Got individuals that try to wake up, and they're trying to do right, and then the wickedness comes and just occupies the spirit to where you are now back on the other side. You're backsliding. Ecclesiasticus 3:16. So you have to surround yourself around the right people. That's why if things are going wrong and something ain't right, men and women, don't go talk to somebody that's not righteous. If I have a problem going on and it's disturbing me, I'm not going to go talk to one of my old friends that's not in the truth. Why? Because they're going to give me some advice that's going to lead me in the wrong direction. I would rather, if something's going on, I'm going to talk to my ox that kind of know where I'm coming from, to where they can give me the right input. They might say the same things that I'm already thinking, and then just let me know, hey, I'm on the right path. Or they might say something that I wasn't thinking, and be like, you know what? Okay, man, I appreciate that. I would have probably thought about that 3 days from now, but you gave it to me right now. Thank you. Same with you women. You got things going on, some problems going on, things that ain't going the right way for you, and you don't like it. But you go call an old friend for her that's not in the truth. All she gonna do is make the situation worse. She gonna give you some advice that's gonna have you doing something that you're gonna regret. Versus calling someone that's in your group, a sister that's like you, that wears skirts and has her head wrapped, she's probably going to give you the best advice out of anybody, your mom, friends, or anybody. Why would you call someone of an old foe that's going to give you the wrong direction? But this is what we do and don't even realize it. That's where the backsliding comes in at. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16, and it reads, "And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there."
So, like I say, it's a sad thing when wickedness has occupied the place of judgment. It says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there. And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Go ahead.
Verse 17, "I said in mine heart, I shall judge the righteous and the wicked.
He's going to judge both. Go ahead.
For there is a time there for every purpose and for every work."
So, for there is a time there for every purpose and every work. Means the Most High is going to judge everything you do. Everything you do, the Most High is going to judge it. Whether if it's righteous or if it's iniquity, He's going to judge it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you keep sinning and you're sinning more than you're doing right, you're not going to make it. Sooner or later, you're going to have to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. You know what, I'm getting rid of the evil heart. I'm going to stop. But the longer you hold on to that evil heart, and the longer you treat your sister dirty and evil, and the longer you treat your brother evil and dirty, or anybody, the Most High says, hey, I'm watching you. I'm watching your every movement, your every word. So it's not a good thing when the soul doesn't bring good grapes. The parable we read, the Most High says, I'm trying to produce good grapes, but the wild ones keep coming. So it's not a good thing if your soul is not bringing good grapes, which is humility, which is a humble spirit, meekness, which is a humble spirit. This is the type of grapes you should be bringing to the vineyard. Meekness, patience, love. All right? Getting away from this world. Okay? Once you start getting away from this world, that's bringing forth good grapes. Once you bring love, patience, meekness, now this is what Ahia is looking for. That's what he wants. Now that's got the vineyard looking good. It's intact. But instead, we're bringing forth the wild grapes, which is the pride, the discontent. Discontent is being uneasy in the mind. So since you're uneasy in the mind, nothing satisfies you. It's hard to satisfy you. All right. Malice. Malice is an evil heart. Where instead of trying to build up friendships with people, you're making enemies. That's what malice is. I would rather spend my time and bring an evil heart and find a way to be opposite of this person. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? Nah, that person's trying their hardest to come into the truth. They're trying to learn, you know what? Let me help. Let me do whatever I can to help this spirit and bring them on in. Reel them on in. They try, they want the truth. Okay, they trying to accept it. Let me do my part as a sister or a brother and reel them in versus what they do. Nah. Let me throw a couple of spikes in the road to turn them away. Now you're bringing forth the wild grapes. You got that pride, that malice, all that. The Most High is like, nothing satisfies you. The Most High is like, hey, nah, I'm good with you. We need to be doing everything we can with the patient spirit and the patient heart to bring people into. It's a gathering. It's a gathering. Hold on, let's go to it real fast. Let's go back to Hebrews. Hebrews 10. Let me see. (25). Hebrews 10 and 25. Read 24 first. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 24. And it reads, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
So let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not to provoke unto fights and evil heart. Verse 25.
Verse 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
Read it again.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
The word forsaking right there means to leave behind. So not to leave behind the assembling of ourselves together. You're not to leave someone behind. If you see someone trying to gather this word and get on board like you and learn, you're to do whatever you can to get them on board. Not try to leave them behind because you got a problem with them or something ain't right or you just don't like them. So I don't care if she go or not. I don't care if he make it or not. What's the rest? As
the manner of some is.
So as the manner of some is. So that's and so it's telling you, so that's how some of y'all are. Some of y'all would rather forsake the assembling of ourselves. Some of y'all would rather leave somebody behind. That's what y'all would want to do. Go ahead.
But exhorting one another.
But exhorting means to call near. But exhorting one another. Go ahead.
And so much the more, as ye see the day approach.
So you need to do this more. You need to be exhorting one another, which is calling near and saying, hey, come on, get on this boat, let's go. And doing that much more. That's what it says, and so much the more. You should be doing that more than anything as ye see the day approaching. We see the end times are here. We see that time is coming. And now that we know that time is coming, you should be trying to get every brother and sister on board. I don't care who they are. It's called a gathering. No one's going to gather us but ourselves. Why? Because we're hated. There's no one come on the news tomorrow morning like, oh, hey, we know Israel's trying to gather in the last days and we got to do everything we can. They're not going to have no assemblies for us and no parades for us to get this together. We got to do it ourselves. Zephaniah 2:1 tells us that we're hated. We're hated. Let's go to it real fast. Read it. Zephaniah 2:1. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. And it reads, gather yourselves together, ye, gather together, O nation not desired.
We're not desired here. They don't care about us. So the only people that's going to care about us is ourselves. We have to love one another and provoke unto love and gather ourselves and exhort one another. Okay? That's what we have to spend our time in doing. Let's go to Jeremiah 2:19. We got so much evilness in the heart, jealousy, ignorance. That's another reason and another thing that's got people backsliding. The jealousy and the evilness in the heart. It's sad. We got division. We got on Facebook and YouTube all these different camps, and can't nobody come together. Everybody's tearing each other down. when we should be exhorting one another, bringing one another closer and closer, trying to make this. We're under the same body, supposedly, so it should be the same mission. But Satan, he didn't creep on in. It's the end days. We're in the perilous times. Satan came in and he's jumping in everybody. He's jumping inside the households. He's jumping inside the workforce. He's jumping inside the sisterhood. He's jumping inside the brotherhood. He's jumping inside the relationship with the parents, between the kids. He's jumping inside the relationship between husband and wife. Satan he's on a roll. Right now, he's the MVP. Satan's the MVP right now. He's working wonders on these people. They can't stop him. The MVP is the most valuable player because he makes the team better. Satan, he building his team up like no other. He got an all-star squad. A juggernaut. Juggernaut is bigger than an all-star squad, huh? Satan got a juggernaut. Not even an all-star squad. Juggernaut means there's hundreds all across the board. Jeremiah 2:19. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 19, and it reads, "Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore, and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that thou shalt forsake the Most High thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Most High, power of hosts.
Thy own wickedness shall correct thee." So your wickedness shall correct thee. Once you see you're doing wicked, you should be able to correct yourself because you know the truth. You know when you're doing wicked. And thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Knowing therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter. So it's an evil thing and it's bitter to the Most High to see someone backslide. That thou hast forsaken. Forsaken means you have turned away from the Most High, thy power. All right, verse 20.
Verse 20. For of all time I have broken thy yoke, and burst thy bands. And thou said, I will not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
So the Most High said, how is it that you people have become degenerate? He says, I planted a noble vine, which was the right seed. I know what seed I was planting. I didn't plant no crack seed. I didn't plant no purple seed. I planted the right seed. But when you popped up, you was degenerate. How is that possible? That's what the Most High is asking. Where did he asking himself, where did I go wrong? I planted the right seed, a noble vine, and then I got a degenerate plant. Give them the definition of degenerate.
The word degenerate means to become worse, to decay in good quality.
So I planted the perfect seed, and yet the plant became degenerate. It decayed in good qualities. It had no good qualities about it. It was a horrible plant. Go ahead. Rest of that.
Okay, to pass from a good to a bad or worse state.
So you went from a good state to a bad state to a worse state. You had woken up, you was doing right, and then you started doing somewhat bad, and now you're worse. And listen, that's why I'm doing this lesson, because I see it happening. I see it happening with our people just from this group. You see people slipping? You're like, man, you try to talk to them? And they're like, all right, they're doing bad right now. And it's becoming worse. It's becoming worse to where you're like, man, I'm a little worried. about such and such. All right. Lamentations 4:1. It's scary right now. My spirit is it has a heaviness on it because of what I'm seeing. It has a major heaviness on it from what I'm seeing from the people. But the scriptures, it's just falling in line with the scriptures. That just goes to show you how true this Bible is. So many people try to go, the Bible has been altered. The Bible. Man, listen, this Bible got the true spirit on it. Because everything it says is happening. Regardless if you want it to happen or not. You're like, I don't want sister such and such to fall out of the truth. I don't want brother such. It's not up to you. Scripture says it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we see it. We see people that a year ago, a year and a half ago, they were so good in the truth and the word, doing everything they can. At every holy day. At every holy day, head wrap, fringes on. And now you see them, they don't even own a Bible no more. You got a bed when it comes to the holy day. You gonna be at the holy day? You gonna be there? You gonna be there? They went from good to worse. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1, and it reads, how is the gold become dim?
How did the gold become dim? That's the question. So how did it go from good to bad? How did that happen? How was you once a bright gold gem in this truth and you become dim? What happened to make you become dim? Go ahead.
And it reads, how is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold.
So the gold, the parable right here is talking to us. The precious sons of Zion, the sons and daughters of Zion, is comparable to this fine gold that became dim. Go ahead.
Comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter?
So now you become like the works of the hands of the potter versus fine gold. So as long as you're here in America, you're going to start changing. Let me say it again. I don't care how many years you've been in the truth. As long as you stay here in America, you sooner or later you're going to start doing this a little bit. Because there's so much stuff going on here that's going to make you go back a little. There's too many things out here to become a part of or to be associated with, which are called stumbling blocks. You wake up to the truth and you're doing everything you can. And as long as you hear there's so much stuff here that you can be involved in that's going to make you do this a little bit. That's why we got to go. In order to protect your spirit and in order for you to stop sinning, you got to get away from all this stuff. It's just too much. It's too much stuff here with technology. You got all your friends and family here who's the opposite of you. Everything here is a stumbling block. Isaiah 57:13. Let's try to get through the rest of these precepts. That's the reason why so many people backslide, because of all the different stumbling blocks that are here. Wouldn't it be easy to save your soul if you didn't have all the technology? If you was the only man here on this earth, would you save your soul? It'd be simple, right?
Yes.
It'd be real simple, right? You don't got no trouble to get into. Right? Would y'all agree with me? Y'all the only people on earth, would you be saved, right? So why don't we start eliminate all this stuff on your own? Just make it to where it's almost like that, right? You have to almost go from that broad street to very narrow, and the narrow road is like so many people in your circle, and so many things. You have eliminated everything to where there's nothing. And once you do that, now you feel a little more comfortable on salvation. But as long as you got this, and them, man, I'm telling y'all, we're in a whole lot of trouble. I'm just a messenger. Spirit shows me we are in a lot of trouble, regardless of what you're doing on Facebook. You're trying to talk to people. You're doing that. That's nothing. Got people, brothers on Facebook all day long talking about they waking up to people. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop fooling yourself. How many people is really on Facebook throwing the truth out there and that's waking up new people? You ain't waking up nobody new. Everybody that's on Facebook is already on there because they was already woke. And those who your friends are, those are the people that you associate with. It ain't like every day you got a new person on Facebook like, hey man, I seen y'all post, man. I'm a Christian, man. I've been reading, man. Hey man, I want to come on board. You don't got that. So stop fooling yourself. That's why I don't be on there that much no more, throwing stuff on there, because it ain't waking nobody up. You might plant a seed or two here and there, but you can do better by just going to places that you know better. Spending all your time on Facebook talking to the same people that's woke. Stop lying to yourself. Isaiah 57:13. So many people, I'm on Facebook because I'm doing work. For real, show me the money. All right, I want to see it. Show me who you waking up on a daily basis. Isaiah 57:13. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 13, and it reads, when thou criest, let thy companies deliver thee, but the wind shall carry them all away. Vanity shall take them, but that he put his trust in me shall possess the land, and shall inherit my holy mountain.
So we have to put our trust in the Most High. We have to depend on the Most High, and He will carry us through this. That's what they just said. Depend on me, and I will carry you through this. Stop depending on Satan and all his wonders to get you through your problems. And that's what people are doing. People start going through things. Guess what? Like I said, they call that old friend. Hey, girl, I'm going through some things. That's Satan that's going to give you that advice. Nowadays, you can have a problem in your relationship. You can just pick up your phone. They got so many different apps and things. If you're having a problem with your relationship, click here and download this, and it'll give you this information. You got all these different things that's giving you advice on what you should do in your relationship. This study right here says if you did this, it will help in your relationship. And people, so many people is like, oh yeah. That's Satan. Depend on the Most High, have faith in the Most High, and leave it up to Him, and He will carry you through anything. Verse 14.
Verse 14, we're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 14. And it reads, and shall say, cast ye up, prepare the way, take up the stumbling block out of the way of my people.
So if you depend on the Most High, He's going to take the stumbling block out of your way. He's going to prepare the way for you. See, right now you're trying to walk in your own way, and then you got all these stumbling blocks that's holding you back. But if you depend on the Most High and let Him prepare the way, there will be no stumbling blocks. He's not going to put no stumbling blocks out there for you if you let Him prepare the way. But if you prepare the way and do things on your own, there's going to be many stumbling blocks. Let's talk about a few stumbling blocks that's out there right now. One of the main stumbling blocks right now, taxes. Right now, one of the main stumbling blocks for anybody is taxes. People get their taxes and they lose their freaking mind. I don't need the Most High right now. I got it made. I don't need the Most High. What I need the Most High for? That's that person we were just reading about a few minutes ago. When things are going good, you don't need the Most High. But then as soon as the taxes is gone, and you can't pay your car payment, please, you're waking up first thing in the morning, friend. Please.
Please.
All right. So the taxes right now is a major stumbling block for people because they get all this. And nowadays, taxes is outrageous. People is getting so much money in their taxes. I'm hearing some numbers, and I'm like, for real? Back in the day, you was happy if you got $2,000, $2,500. Then it went to $4,000, $5,000. You hear people brag over the years. Years ago, when I was younger, people get about $2,500, $3,000. Then all of a sudden, Bush did something in the early 2000s to where now people get about $5,000, $6,000. Man, I'm getting about 6 G's. Now people getting 10, 12 G's back from taxes. I'm like, for real? So now they're getting taxes. I don't gotta do nothing. I'm gonna quit my job. Quit. You gonna just quit. You know? I don't need the Most High. I got it made. Okay.
Finally got a piece of the pie.
Man. Work is a stumbling block. And how is work a stumbling block? Because you got so much going on at work. Different people, different spirits. You just got it's an environment that's just going to keep you away from the Most High. You can't do the Most High there. Friends are a stumbling block. All right. Jealousy. And that's one of the main ones. When you got that jealousy, it can be jealousy of anything though. You can be jealous of your coworker. You can be jealous of somebody else's car. Just any type of jealousy, that's a stumbling block. Drugs, people that do drugs, definitely a stumbling block. Now they don't got a sober mind, drinking drugs. Evil heart, stumbling block. Because the evil heart is going to is making you go the wrong way. When you got the evil heart, the Most High is frowning on you. Pride, we already know what the Most High says about pride, stumbling block. When you don't have no faith, stumbling block. Technology, devices, so many devices nowadays it's all Satan made. And when you depend on these devices and then you use them, stumbling block. Laziness, stumbling block. I mean, it's all evil. I hate to say it, but I'm being followed through the devices, through the technology of Satan. That's evil. I'm being tracked down and followed through the government, and I know it. I'm like, what is this? You know, it's just stumbling blocks. But the Most High will remove these stumbling blocks as we just read and make the way clear if you just trust in Him. All right? But if you don't trust in Him, someone else will take your place. If you don't want salvation, someone else will take it. And we're going to close it off with the scriptures on showing you how someone else will take your place in salvation. We got about 5 minutes left. Go to Romans 11:7. So if you don't want to trust in the Most High and follow in His ways, someone else will take your place when it comes to salvation. Only so many people going to receive it. So if you don't get on the right path and do it, someone else will be right there in your place. I promise you. Romans 11:7. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 7. And it reads, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. The rest of them were blinded. So majority of these people are blind when it comes to salvation. What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, which is salvation. All right, but the election has obtained it. So there are certain people that will obtain it. The rest are blind. Verse 8. Verse 8. According as it is written, I have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. And David said, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. So there goes a stumbling block. All right, the stumbling block is there, you guys.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
So if you don't get your act right, start following in the ways of the Most High, your salvation will be given unto someone else. Someone else will take it. If you don't want to wake up and start doing right and hearken to the words of the Most High and seek after salvation, He will allow someone else to do such and move you right out of your spot. That's why they tell you that the Bible is false and it's been rewritten, because they don't want you to find out what sin it is so you can seek after salvation. They want it. They know if you don't wake up and start following after it and you don't believe in it, and then on the back end they believe in it, then they know as long as you don't wake up and believe in it, they got a chance to take your place. Galatians 6:1. That's why you got to stop being ignorant and get on the program. And the program is the Most High Ahaya. All right? Through the King James Bible, which is the Messiah. And if you ain't on that program, then I don't know what to say. There ain't no other way to go. But you've been taught to follow after your own ways, follow your heart, your flesh, and that's what's happening. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 1, and it reads, Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such in one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of the Messiah. For if a man think himself to be something when he is not, he deceiveth himself.
Mm-hmm.
But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another.
So if once a man proves himself, then he can rejoice in himself alone. No one else need to make a big deal out of it and rejoice, and he don't need to rejoice in another. He need to rejoice alone. But if a man thinks something of himself, he is nothing. He's lying to himself. He's deceiving himself. If a man walking around talking about he the stuff, I'm this, I'm that, he is nothing. And it starts off by saying, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, so if someone does something wrong, ye which are spiritual, you that are spiritual, restore such and one in the spirit of meekness. So be humble and try to restore some goodness in that brother. Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So don't be tempted once you see someone else do something wrong. You got to come with the correct spirit of correction, which is a humble heart. Verse 5.
Verse 5. For every man shall bear his own burden.
Every man shall bear his own burden. Even though verse 2 says, bear ye one another's burden, but every man shall bear his own burden first before someone else can help him out. Before someone else can help you out with your burden, you have to bear it first and realize you've done wrong. You have to own up and confess and be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to look myself in the mirror. I know I was, and once you bear that burden, then someone else can come in and help you out with that and give you advice. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
So whatever you sow it, that's what you're going to reap. So if you put in good works, you're going to receive good works. If you put in evil works, you're going to receive evil works in the last days. If you have an evil heart and you're always evil towards people, then in the last days, that's what you're going to get. Verse 8.
Verse 8. For he that soweth to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
So if you spend most of your time doing things in the flesh, then that's what you're going to reap. That's why I say it's time to change, you guys. You got to get away from it, that flesh. If you spend most of your time doing fleshly things, then at the end time in judgment day, the Most High said, well, you spent 80% of your time in the flesh, so I'm going to judge you off of the flesh. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So if you spend most of your time, all your time, soweth in the Spirit, then the Most High said you will receive everlasting life. That's simple right there to me. Get out of the flesh and stop doing fleshly things. I don't care how bad it makes you feel, and the flesh is, I'm emotional, I'm this, I'm that, I'm sad, I'm jealous. Listen, it's going to just take you to the pit. Until you can learn how to deal with those emotions, you're going to the pit. You got to get them under control. We're, according to the scriptures, we're not emotional individuals. We're humble. That's man and woman. Something's bothering you, learn how to just be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it to the Most High. I'm gonna let Him deal with it, and I'm not gonna stress about it. But when you got these emotions is what bring you back into the flesh, and then you just lose your mind. And before you know it, it's too late. It's too late, and it's just bad. And that's what the more you do that, the more you in that flesh, the more you fighting and arguing in the flesh, jealous, mad, depressed. That's what the Most High is going to remember come Judgment Day. He's going to be like, hey, you know what? I remember when you was in the flesh, 90%, 85% of the time, something was always wrong with you. I don't want you in the kingdom. Why am I going to want you in the kingdom when you're going to bring that same shenanigans to the kingdom? The only people that's going to make it to the kingdom are the people that was able to get in the spirit 100% here, right now. So when Judgment Day comes, you're like, hey, you know what? You've been in the spirit forever now. Come on over. You know how to act. Because he don't got time to explain rules. In the kingdom, he don't got time to sit us down in the classroom and say, hey, these are the rules. These are the guidelines. The people that make it to the kingdom already know the rules and guidelines because they already been following them and doing them. And there ain't going to be no switch. There ain't going to be no training courses on what the kingdom is like. You already... That's what this is here right now. This is what this test is. Last scriptures of the night, Hebrews 6:4. We gotta get it right now. I don't know what you're waiting on. You're not going to make it if you don't switch to the spirit right now. And you gotta get away from the people who's not trying to be in the spirit. If they're not trying to be in the spirit, they got to go. Just being real. I am not going to let you continue to take me out of my spirit and take me to the pit. It's not going to happen. Last scriptures of the night. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 4, and it reads, for it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Spirit, and have tasted the good word of the Most High, and the powers of the world to come, if they should fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of the Most High afresh, and put him to an open shame.
It said it is an open shame to the Messiah for you to be woken up and get a taste of what the salvation is like and then fall back into the world. That is a shame to the Messiah. Why? Because the Messiah, once he teaches you what you should do, it should be good enough for you to stay on track. So now if the Messiah, you wake up and start following the words of the Messiah and you fall back, that's like a slap in his face, like he didn't do his job to the most high. But it said in verse 4, for it is impossible for those who were enlightened and have tasted the heavenly gift. So when you see someone that falls back into the world, guess what? That means they never really was woken. Does that make sense? That means they was never really woken, because someone that wakes up and tastes salvation, they're not going to fall back. It's impossible for them to fall back. You see what I mean? So now you start seeing somebody that fall back. You're like, I mean, he really never was walking in. He never tasted that salvation. Because it says right here, once you taste salvation, it's impossible for you to fall back. Verse 7.
Verse 7. And it reads, For the earth which drinketh in the rain that cometh off upon it, and bringeth forth herbs, meat for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessings from the Most High. But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is not unto cursing, whose end is to be burned.
So just like the vineyard we was talking about, anyone that brings forth the wild grapes and their vineyard is not pruned to where it's trimmed and you got briars and thorns everywhere, you're going to be rejected. You're going to be rejected. Most High says, I'm not going to have it. And your end is to burn, which would be in the place of torment. So you guys, if you haven't been woken yet, do whatever you can to be woke, to get enlightened by the word, so you can see how important salvation is. This is why so many people in the world are not trying to save themselves, because they haven't got that taste of salvation yet. Their preacher or whoever's guiding them haven't showed it to them yet. So since they haven't been shown yet, they're not trying to do whatever it takes to be saved. That's why they continue to live the way they live. But you guys that have been woken up and you know what it tastes like, and you fall back, it's not a good deal. But some people that you see that's falling back just means that they was there, but they haven't really tasted the heavenly gift. But even those that have gotten there and they doing everything they can and they trying to change it and then they fall back into the world, the Most High says the punishment is going to be double for them. All right. So if you are someone that's been in the truth for a few years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you're on your way, like I said earlier, be careful, because Satan is really going to come. Once you're in that truth for about 3-4 years, that's when that test is really going to come. Your first couple of years is you've been attacked in certain ways, but you're not going to be attacked in a way to where he's going to bring an overload of different things on you to where you're going to have to make a decision. All right. And this is why you see so many people that was once in our group that came to our studies that's no longer around, because of the scriptures that we talked about tonight. All right. The Most High knows through the Spirit who really wants to do this mission that we're talking about. See, this group, we're talking about a specific mission right now. And that mission is to get out of America here soon. Save up money, let's get some things to get out of here. So the mission has become very specific on what we're trying to do around it. So if the Spirit, after a while, ain't feeling that, then like I say, they're going to moonwalk right on out the circle. All right. And that's just what we're up against. Now, if we wasn't talking about leaving America and we was talking about just being here forever, we'd probably still have so many people, because now it's like a joke. Hey, you know. So continue to pray, and just do what needs to be done to stay on the right track. And hopefully tonight's information will help do just that. So with that in mind, we'll close it out. We'll say Shalom, all praises to the Most High, and let's pray it out.